ameliorate that self-destructive behavior and heal and enhance the connectedness to reality that it puts at risk. Across cultures and across time, I would put it to you, that's what people meant by wisdom. And that part of what we're suffering now is a wisdom famine. Right? So the perennial problem is we need wisdom. The historical problem is we don't know where to go for it. There's been a historical movement that has undermined the worldviews that typically, and these have been religious worldviews, that have given us ecologies of practices where we can go to practice self-transcendence, ameliorating the ways in which we are self-deceptive and self-destructive. We don't even like the old words for being self-deceptive and self-destructive. The old word for that in Christianity, I'm not a Christian, by the way, is sin. We don't want to talk about sin anymore. We don't sin. No, we don't talk about sin. We talk about sin, right? Okay, fine. Because you find that the religious framework within which that was homed no longer seems relevant to you. Fair enough. But that doesn't mean you can now ignore the problem that was named by that term. You can't then say, well, I don't have to worry about self-deceptive, self-destructive behavior. You sure do. You sure do. And so, again, I do this with my students. Where do you go for information? And they hold up their phones. They're like, the internet. Where do you go for knowledge? And they're more skeptical and jaundiced and everything. Well, I guess science, the university. And I say, where do you go for wisdom? There's silence. And I mentioned that in the conversation I had with Lex because that has been a reliable and powerful experience for me. And it's just like, right. And so there have been historical forces that have undermined the religious worldview. I'm not here to say we should roll the clock back. I'm a scientist, okay? But one of the problems science has is it provides this explanation of the world, but doesn't give us yet a good explanation of how we generate science. So science itself doesn't have a home in that scientific worldview, and we don't have a home within that scientific worldview. And that's, of course, deeply problematic if you want people to feel very connected to themselves, each other, and the world. So we've had this historical movement that has undermined how we home ecologies of practices, wisdom institutions. We don't have alternatives. I think our attempts to make politics, we keep trying, and we're trying again right now. We keep saying, well, what we'll do is make politics the place that does all this heavy lifting. And then what we do is we get it, and we're getting into it again. And we did it also in the 19th century. We drenched the world in blood in the first half of the 20th century, in which we created mass pseudo-religious political movements and drenched the world. And so we're trying again. And what you see is the paradox that everything is becoming politicized, political, right? But everybody feels disenfranchised from politics. They think it's corrupt and full of bullshit and gridlocked and all this kind of. And that paradox tells you that people somehow know intuitively that framing isn't the right way, but they don't know what the alternative is. And so that's where we are.